Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a love that is naive and a love that is truly wise? It's a question that has puzzled poets and philosophers for ages, but sometimes the clearest answers are found in the simplest stories. Today, I want to take you on a journey to Ethiopia, a land of ancient traditions and breathtaking landscapes, to share a story about two people, Dawit and Hannah, whose love story beautifully illustrates this very difference. Our story begins in a bustling market in Addis Ababa, a kaleidoscope of colors, sounds, and smells. This is where Dawit, a young, ambitious university student, with dreams as big as the Entoto Mountains overlooking the city, first saw Hannah. She was arranging a vibrant display of hand-woven textiles, her laughter echoing like a melody above the market's hum. For Dawit, it was instantaneous. He was captivated by her beauty, her radiant smile, and the grace in her every movement. This was the spark of naive love, passionate, thrilling, and based on an idealized image. He saw her not just as a person, but as the perfect embodiment of a dream. He approached her, his heart pounding, and bought a small scarf he didn't need, just for a chance to talk to her. They began to meet, their early days filled with the giddy excitement of new love. Dawit would wait for her after the market closed, and they would walk along the city streets, sharing dreams under the vast African sky. He loved the idea of Hertha, hardworking, beautiful artisan. He would write poetry about her, comparing her eyes to the rich Ethiopian coffee beans, and her spirit to the wild, untamed beauty of the Blue Nile Falls. This was love in its most romanticized form, a beautiful fantasy he was living in. Hannah, on the other hand, was more grounded. She grew up in a family of artisans, her hands skilled in a craft passed down through generations. She was pragmatic and understood the value of hard work. She was charmed by Dawit's passion and his grand visions for the future. But she also saw a world beyond the poetry. She saw the long hours he would need to study, the financial struggles they might face, and the cultural differences between his academic world and her traditional craft. She fell in love, not just with the dreamer, but with the determined, sometimes clumsy, and very real person he was. The first test of their relationship came when Dawit's studies became more demanding. He had less time for their evening walks and romantic gestures. He grew frustrated, feeling that the magic was fading. He missed the version of Hannah he had created in his mind, the smiling, carefree girl from the market. He didn't understand why she was often tired after a long day, or why she seemed more concerned with practical matters like the cost of rent than with his latest poem. This is the classic pitfall of naive love. When reality doesn't match the fantasy, it begins to crumble. Hannah noticed his disappointment. One evening, instead of waiting for him to suggest a walk, she brought him a simple meal she had cooked. As they ate, she didn't talk about poetry or grand dreams. She asked him about his classes, about the specific challenges he was facing, and she listened, truly listened. She told him she was proud of his hard work, even if it meant they had less time together for a while. She wasn't just supporting his dream. She was supporting him, the person, through the difficult process of achieving that dream. This was a turning point for Dawit. He began to see Hannah not as a muse for his romantic fantasies, but as a partner. He saw her strength, her resilience, and her unwavering support. He realized that love wasn't about grand poetic gestures every single day. It was about showing up for each other, especially when things were tough. It was about understanding and appreciating the real person with all their imperfections and daily struggles. His love began to mature. He started to find beauty not just in her smile, but in the focused determination on her face as she worked her loom. He started to appreciate her practical nature, realizing it was the very thing that kept them grounded and moving forward. He began helping her at the market stall on weekends, learning about her craft, her family, and the world she came from. He wasn't just loving an idea anymore. He was loving a whole person. This is the essence of wise love. It's not blind. It sees the flaws, the challenges, and the imperfections, and it loves anyway. It's not a fantasy. It's a partnership built on mutual respect, support, and a shared commitment to navigating the realities of life together. Wise love understands that a relationship isn't a destination of perfect happiness, but a journey of growth, both as individuals and as a couple. It's about building something real and lasting, thread by thread, just like the beautiful textiles Hannah wove. Years passed. Dawit graduated and became a successful architect, his designs often inspired by the traditional patterns he learned about from Hannah. Hannah's textile business flourished, her work celebrated for its blend of traditional skill and modern artistry. Their love story wasn't a fairy tale, with a simple, happily ever after. It was filled with arguments, compromises, and challenges, just like any real relationship. But through it all, their love didn't just survive, it deepened. They learned that love isn't about losing yourself in another person. It's about two whole individuals choosing to walk the same path, supporting each other's growth while creating a shared life. Dawit's initial naive love was the spark that started their fire. But it was Hannah's wisdom and their shared commitment to growing together that turned it into a warm, enduring flame. So, the next time you think about love, remember the story of Dawit and Hannah. Naive love is the beautiful, exciting beginning. It sees the perfect picture. But wise love is what comes after. It's the love that embraces the messy, complicated, and wonderfully real journey. It's the choice to keep building, to keep learning, and to keep loving. Not just the idea of someone, but the real person by your side, through all of life's seasons. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.